Happy Thursday, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jezza Moye. Welcome to EverTalk Live, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. for all things happiness in Hollywood, a little pop culture and positivity. Happy Thursday, Rob.
Happy Thursday. Loving the chain right now.
Thank you
Really
very much.
Yeah.
You know who this is from? Dawn. Dawn's Star Collection. Love her. Everything is handmade, custom designed. And she makes it so it lands right on your chakras.
Oh, wow. Could use a little of that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Matching earrings today.
We need
Thank
to
you
get
very
one
much,
for
Dawn Star.
everybody that lives in LA. Or the world, just the world.
Exactly. Align yourself.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. It's beautiful. I love it.
Well, thank you very much. We're excited to welcome our very special guest today. Good morning, everyone in the studio.
Good
Hello.
morning.
Good morning.
Oh, look who's back with us, hailing all the way from Northern California. Leah Solberg is in the house. Good morning, Leah.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, we're grateful that you're here. I know it's a busy week. Everybody is buzzing with Oscars and, of course, raising a glass with Michael Solberg Family Wine. So tell us, though, how are you starting your day here in Hollywood for Oscar week? What's your morning routine?
Well, I open my eyes. I do a big stretch. Usually, right away, I go to my phone and start answering emails. But then I like to turn on EverTalk TV and get that morning bell with you. And I love watching that. I'm learning so much about stock market and then continue on and get the kids off to school and do my morning workout and then EverTalk TV. You know it.
There you go. Didn't have to pay her to say it. You might be making some money off the trading bell, though, so I guess in one way.
Exactly. We'll drink to that.
Right.
That sounds like
That's
a morning
right, the
moment.
trading bell.
Well, thanks so much. We are going inside Hollywood's Secret Service
Yes.
this morning with Russell Stewart. Good morning, Russell.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're so grateful that you're here with us. I know you are probably super busy in Hollywood's busiest week. We want to know, though, how do you wake up and stay woke? What's your morning routine like?
Wow. Well, morning, it's about 4 a.m., phone calls, emails. You know, Hollywood's full of problems, and we're here to solve them. So especially on Oscar weekend, it has been crazy. But you know what? You got to kiss the kids, kiss the wife, and coffee, coffee, coffee.
There it is. Got to get that caffeine in you. I hear you.
Stay caffeinated to stay safe.
For sure. Got to stay alert.
That should be the new slogan for coffee.
It should. You're right.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. We look forward to continuing the conversation later in the show.
Do you remember the days when you didn't drink coffee, Jez?
I do.
Yeah. What was that like?
I was barely functioning. It was a Coca-Cola until I became an avid coffee drinker. I'll never forget the moment. It was 4 a.m. I had just moved to Los Angeles, fresh out of college, and I never had a coffee in my life.
Yeah.
And I was producing the satellite media tour, right? We were going live, interviewing somebody in New York, and I had this moment where I just looked at the coffee maker, and I was like, it's you and me.
Yeah.
I'm never going back. And I'll never forget it. It was a holiday blend, Trader Joe's cup of coffee. And I've had coffee every day since then.
I appreciate that, man. And I can also appreciate the satellite media tours. I've done 2 of those. I was on the other side. And I don't know how I did it without coffee either. I think it was sugar. I think back in the day, sugar was the coffee, at least if you were a kid, right? You were a Pop-Tarts girl, I think.
I was a Pop-Tarts girl. No longer.
No longer.
Although they are a good way to my
They
heart.
are.
Especially
Yep.
that gluten-free one over at the Henry. But
Oh,
anyway,
wow.
I
Try that one.
digress. So it is a super busy week here in
It is.
Hollywood. As we mentioned, of course, it's the week of the Oscars. So everybody's coming to town.
That's so true.
And going out to play.
That's true. Did you go out to play last night?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I went out and I had dinner with a couple friends over at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And it's funny because they say you go to the Beverly Hills to be seen in the Bel Air to hide. Well, I saw everybody last night.
Did you?
Ivana was there. Martha Stewart was there. It was pretty wild. It was one of those moments where you look around and you're like, where am I?
Feels surreal, doesn't it sometimes?
It felt very surreal. And I had the honor of even seeing Michael Douglas there.
Wow.
Of course, our thoughts and love and light to his family after the loss of Kirk Douglas just yesterday. He lived 103 years.
Wow, that's incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's great to live a long, healthy, happy life. Right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And then I was stepping and repeating over at the Mondrian.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love the Mondrian. Beautiful, huh?
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
The Sky Bar has one of the most beautiful views of LA. And of course, everybody was there and super chic. Got my picture taken, got right out of there so I could get in bed and be here with you this morning.
That's awesome, Jez. I appreciate that. Boy, you do burn that candle at both ends, don't you?
I sure do. What about you? What's going on?
Oh my goodness, nothing like that. I will say, I used to, so the Mondrian, there's a Mondrian in Miami. before it was the Mondrian, it was in this apartment building, and I lived there, and I remember like, oh, it's a pretty nice apartment building. And then when the Mondrian came in and they made it their own, oh my goodness, I was like, wow, why did I ever move out? Just so beautiful. So I'm glad you got to spend some time doing that and hitting the red carpet. Did you get some pics or no?
Well, who knows?
Yeah.
We'll search the internet for those later.
I know,
it was
they're
one of
always
those.
hard to
I was like, I can't even be bothered with the Instagram right now. There's Martha Stewart. What am I doing?
I know.
I'm not even thinking
It's
straight.
true. I didn't actually ever understand that term like seen and be seen until I moved to LA. Everybody would say, oh, LA is so different from Miami or from Pittsburgh or from New York or wherever because it's much more seen and be seen. And that's a perfect example of that, isn't it?
That is. Well, if you want to see and be seen tonight, Derek Gores is having his exhibition launch party tonight. It's going to be a beautiful reception at the Hotel Bel Air.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, what a fantastic guy and what an artist.
Oh, absolutely
so talented.
incredible.
Yeah. So, you inspired a thought within me today, Jez. I think of you as a super connector. You've got these countless gifts and talents and really skill set and mindset. I think that it's very conducive to connecting with people. And you network really well, but organically, because you're not trying to network, you're just being yourself. And so it inspired me to talk a little bit today about sort of networking and how to increase our persuasiveness and influence in the world.
Ooh,
right?
How to get what we really want.
Yeah, exactly. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, most things come through other people. It come maybe from you, from the inside out, but it comes through other people. And so the question I get, particularly in my private practice, particularly with a lot of the executives, but also the entertainers, is like, how can I network more effectively, or how can I be more sort of persuasive and influential? Right? And so I want to talk about that a little bit today. One of the most important things that I've discovered is like not trying too hard, because there's nothing worse than a person who tries to sell you so hard or sell you anything. All of a sudden you don't want to buy, even if you wanted to buy before they approached you. So that's one of the first things. I noticed you do that really well, Jez.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I'm not genuinely out to sell anything. I just want to connect with people.
Exactly.
And that's enough for me.
Yeah, exactly. You're not trying to get something through that person. They're not a means to some other end. They're just an end in themselves. You're there to enjoy yourself. So that's one of the best sort of tips and tricks. The other thing is just always leading and ending interactions with positivity and personal rapport building. Like, people overlook this all the time. I don't know if you get text messages or if you get emails or you meet people, they'll instantly ask you for something or they'll tell you something, but that's always, there are emergencies and situations like that we want to be careful of. But the challenge and the opportunity with people is that we're always building this bank of goodwill that we're drawing on over and over and again later in our lives or later in the day or later in the week. And if you don't build that bank of goodwill, it's going to, you'll find yourself bankrupt with that person pretty quickly.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
The bank of goodwill. I like that.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. The other thing is just, particularly when you're trying to persuade people or influence them in a greater way, you want to make sure that you do a couple of other things too. One is you want to connect with them on things that they genuinely care about. And so instead of trying to bring up maybe the topic that you're trying to sell them on or you're trying to persuade them around or about, instead just connect with them on things that they care about, not just things that you care about. So I think you also do that extraordinarily well, Jez.
Oh, thank you.
Were you like that as a little girl or no?
Absolutely. I've always been this way, but it's interesting because I take a certain approach when I go to these kind of events or red carpets or hotels, whatever it might be, whether it's Oscar week or any area of my life, is that I really set my intentions, not my expectations.
Yes. Oh,
I have
so
no
good.
expectations of who I'm going to meet or what I want from them or what I'm going to give them. I just only set intentions for myself. This is how I want to show up, and this is how I want to interact. And beyond that, I leave it to the universe.
So good, Jez. I literally, and with some folks and some clients, I have to do this more consistently, but I'll literally at the end of emails or at the end of conversations say no expectations, only appreciation. And it's such a good point. I love the fact that you set the intentions, but you don't tie your happiness or your enjoyment in the event or even in the interaction to what you get back or out of it from them.
Oh, absolutely, because it's never going to be what you expect. And if you try and force and control the situation, nobody's going to want to connect with you.
No, exactly. It's so uncomfortable, right?
Super uncomfortable.
Yeah, it feels sort of needy and desperate. And the last thing, of course, that I would just mention for now is listening. Like, I think today, in this day and age, people really struggle with that. Even when they think that they're listening, they're not. They're mostly hearing their own thoughts. Right? They're not actually hearing what you're saying. And so they filter it. Most of us do this anyway. We filter it through our sort of preconceived notions and ideas and assumptions. And most of those are flawed. They're false assumptions. They're flawed premises. And so the key is to really try to listen with an empty mind and an open heart.
So how can we do that better? How can we really clear our minds so we can be present to truly listen and to truly hear?
Great. Practice with yourself first, right? So that's what meditation's about. That's what going for walks in nature is about. That's what just breathing and relaxing is about, is listening to your own thoughts without judgment, without trying to change anything, and then let the thoughts go and come back to a place where you're just enjoying, let's say, your breath or the experience of life coursing through your veins. But the idea is if you practice with yourself, when it's easy, when you get into that conversation, it'll be easier to listen to other people too. Yes.
You know who's an expert at listening to other people?
I have a feeling I know.
Courtney.
Yes, she is.
Absolutely. You know, she is
really
one
good.
of the news anchors at KTLA, formerly Fox News, and now she's released her best-selling memoir tonight at 10, Kicking Booze and Breaking News. And it's been so interesting to get to know Courtney, to listen to her stories, and to hear the conversations she's having around sobriety with her show that's right here on EverTalk, Keeping It Real.
I love Courtney, and I'm so grateful to you for introducing me to Courtney. I didn't know her before I met you, and she's just such an inspiring story, right? In addition to being an inspiring person, but just fantastic. I'm excited.
So stay tuned. Of course, Courtney Frew will be with us later in the show. We've got some exciting guests coming up. We'll be right back with more on EverTalk Live. And I'm Jessamine Moyer. This is EverTalk Live, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. in the Ever Media Studios for a little Hollywood and happiness, positivity, and pop culture. On Apple TV and Roku via the EverTalk app, and of course streaming live on all socials.
I've got so much love in my life, and then I get to do this with you every single day. I mean, it's incredible.
If you have a dream, do not let anything stop you.
You can have all the money or all the success in the world, but if you don't have peace, it's all worthless, really, right?
Happiness from the inside out. Please be sure, if you haven't read this book,
That's sweet.
you've got to. I
important to
love
remember.
what we do.
I do too, Jess.
Miracles. I'd like just my life to be an example that miracles exist. I am just so grateful that we get to be a part of this journey together, Rob, whether it's 4 a.m. texting up peanut butter and jellies or coming to you live Monday through Friday every 9 a.m. You know when you're going to see that, Eddie?
Yes.
When we're holding it in our own hands,
that's
Rob, for best digital daytime talk show.
What makes people lucky, like actually lucky, is that they believe they're lucky.
Thank you for being my mentor, Rob.
Likewise.
You didn't even know it.
True.
I'm out all the time. I'm everywhere. I'm drinking my wine. I'm doing the show. I'm stepping and repeating on some kind of red carpet. I had a little too much. I said, one drink Jeslyn. One drink Jeslyn. 2 tequila Jeslyn. 2 tequila Jeslyn.
One drink Jazz.
Is this one drink Jeslyn? I hope you're proud, Rob.
I'm very
reading
proud
a
of you,
book.
actually. I don't know how you The hair is killing it today.
Oh, thank
Are
you.
you feeling-
Clearly, we have no fun around here. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Thought of the day: light, love, and magic. Oh, I do it fun. It was wild. Absolutely. Oh my God! Do you know we're still on live, Rob? Right now,
You gotta be kidding.
talking to my angels.
That's hilarious. That's-
love what you do, you don't work a day in your life, right? I absolutely love what I do.
Yeah,
we
it's fun.
couldn't do what we do without the support of you watching. Thank you for sharing, for DMing, for commenting, for continuing to support us as we grow and scale our vision. For the people in the studio and their friends and families for having our backs. We're so grateful.
Right. And I'm most deeply and genuinely grateful for you. Truly I am, Jazz. It's just a pleasure every day to get to connect with you and work with you. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful for you. We love you, Rob Mack. There isn't a man or woman who hasn't met you and said you're the best dressed person in Los Angeles and the happiest guy we know. It's an honor to be able to do this show with
Appreciate
you.
that.
Welcome back to EverTalk Live. I am so excited. that you can hear my echo.
That's how excited you are.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Well, Leah Solberg is back with us. Thank you so much, Leah, for being here today and bringing this amazing wine. Now, you shared with us before the story of your family, but bring us back there to what you learned from your father and why these wines?
Well, like you said, I've been here once before, and I'm happy to be here again. And basically, we're a second-generation family-owned winery. We work with a number of generational growers, and we source our fruit from them. And we're able to make in our newly updated Napa facility our wonderful family varietals. And really, it's about quality and being able to have that wine that you can bring to the table that everybody is going to enjoy at an affordable price. And it's just a real passion and labor of love for me, especially since my father passed away in 2011. Just carrying on his legacy and tradition of values and what we want to bring to the table in the world. And
well, Leah, you've carried on that legacy so gracefully and even brought it here to Hollywood. Let's take a look.
¡Viva los Daytime Emmys!
And the Emmy
Goes to...
Thank you.
Hallelujah! Thank you, Lord!
Hi, I'm Leah Solberg from Michael Solberg Family Wines in Sonoma County, California. Today we brought 4 of our varietals: the Cabernet Sauvignon Reserve. We've also got our Merlot, our Rosé, which is a new one we brought to the line, and our Chardonnay. We are a second-generation family-operated winery.
I got wine yes. They even gave me a glass so I can pop it open in the car. Don't do that.
And Michael Solberg, my father, started this winery in '89. In 2011, after he passed away, I took over, and I'm carrying on the family legacy and tradition of your daily drinking wine at affordable prices, and happy to be here.
Wow, looks like so much fun.
Yeah, enjoying it. And we're getting into the Oscars now. We're going to be doing a bunch of events this weekend, so that's a lot of fun. I've also been working with Carmella from WWE and Total Divas. So recently we've done Capo Cagna wines, which means boss, head boss.
Love that. Yeah.
Boss B.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're
bossed
keeping it,
So-
PG this morning.
There
Love
is
it.
something so wonderful about how elegant and elevated and sophisticated these wines are, but they are affordable. So you can't have that red carpet Hollywood experience without paying that kind of price.
Right. Which everybody deserves. I mean, we all should feel bougie every day.
I'll drink
Right?
that.
Drink
Yes.
great wine.
Tell us about the Chardonnay.
So the Chardonnay is going to be light and crisp. We source a lot of the fruit for the Chardonnay from the Monterey Peninsula, which has great microclimate, so it makes the wines really crisp. It has a clean finish, really fruit forward, which you expect, from a California wine.
Not too buttery.
Right. It's minimally oaked. We do very, very minimal oaking just to kind of have that little back note, but not overbearing at all.
So if people are watching the main event this weekend, the Oscars at home, and they want to get a bottle, what would you pair the Chardonnay with while they're watching?
Well, the Chardonnay goes with anything seafood, chicken wings. I love to have this with a chicken paillard. That's my favorite. All of these, the rosé also will go great with any kind of seafood. The reds I like to pair with more maybe steak bites or a prime rib, something like that, pork roast.
Sounds fantastic, right?
Yeah.
So in the last 9 years, it's been, of course, I would imagine, a tough transition, but also a really exciting transition. So can you talk to us a little bit about sort of that transition and how you've made that sort of navigated that transition yourself with the company?
Well, at first, I always expected, obviously, to work with my father and not be kind of navigating with him, you know, on my shoulder as my little angel. But at first it was a lot of, you know, you got thrown in and you just have to learn to swim. And I think if you just embrace the challenge and just the journey, that makes it much more enjoyable. Obviously, it was hard. I was heartbroken. I mean, I'm still heartbroken over my father not being here physically with me. But, you know, he's here spiritually all the time, anytime I need him. I mean, right here probably.
Literally in spirit.
Yeah, in spirit, exactly.
That's his legacy.
And you know, I take great comfort in that. And I'm just really enjoying the journey. At first, it was a lot of struggle, a lot of new. And I think I needed to just wrap my brain around, have fun with it, you know, and enjoy it, because this is about experiences and not just end results.
Oh my goodness, absolutely.
Right,
Very well said.
right.
So what has been one of the most memorable experiences incorporating Michael Solberg Family Wines here in Hollywood?
Oh, geez, meeting you guys.
Oh,
I think you're
man.
wonderful. I don't know. No,
We'll
honestly,
keep you.
These
You watch, we will keep
you're
you.
amazing.
That's so kind of you.
They're the best. So, absolutely, I think that honestly, that would be, you know, meeting you guys, because I think networking with you and Lisa Liu from P&L Media has been
great.
amazing. Oh, and Monique Stinson as well. She's worked with Lisa in the past as well, and works with wine caterers. And she gets me into so many events down here, so that's been amazing.
She's good at that, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tis the season to be stepping
Indeed.
and repeating, and we hope that you are doing it with Michael Solberg Family Wines and watching along this weekend, raising a glass. Thank you so much, Leah. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow, and of course, get the wine.
Okay, well, you can find us on any social media, Michael Solberg Family Wines. We're on online, michaelsolbergfamilywines.com. We're even taking over TikTok.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Man.
So Michael Solberg MSW Wines on TikTok as well.
Not just great wine, but great people.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you. Hey, it takes one to know one, right?
Amen. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on EverTalk Live.
All right.
5, 4, 3, 2. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm your host, Jez Mouillet, aka The Trading Bell. What a morning it will be. Due to recent news, we're expecting that the market will be down today, but that could potentially present some opportunity for us. Let's take a look at our watch list. One of the things that differentiates the Trading Bell from any of the other stock shows, other than we do live trading, is everything that we do is on camera, so you can see it as it happens. You are seeing what's happening right now in this moment. 2020, it's all about money, money, money. That is my motto. Remember, money never sleeps, pal. That's right. That's why I'm here trading in Los Angeles live with you at the opening bell. Whew, sun is not even up yet, but the stocks are on the move. Numbers are moving faster than I can even speak. Well, let's face it. I'm excited. I'm thrilled. I've got goosebumps. This is a history in the making. Top of the list, SVRA up 154% this morning. Build BVI at 162. Oh, that feels good. BPH, Spring Bake Pharmaceuticals up 22%. That is going to make for a very sweet start to 2020. Filled. Woo! That feels good. Just a disclaimer, this is an entertainment show, so please don't treat any of the information you hear on the show as an investment advice, because trading is risky. What's on the year strong? Visit EverTalk TV, Facebook, or Instagram at The Trading Bell. Remember, every dream has its price. What's yours? We are going inside the Secret Service of Hollywood this morning on EverTalk Live, and we are here with Russell Stewart, the Managing Director of Force Protection Agency.
How you guys doing?
Hey,
We're
thank you
great.
so much for being here and keeping us all safe. I know you're responsible for the safety and protection of so many of our favorite celebrities this weekend.
Yes, ma'am. It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it.
Well, before we get to all that, though, How did you become the expert in this? How did you make this your job?
Well, I came from the military, served 5 years, have quite a long history in the entertainment field. I've lived here in the Beverly Hills area for about 15 years, and just came up with a plan to create something that is just more special, customized, and something that I felt that this industry was just lacking.
I've got to ask though, what took you from the military to La La Land though? I mean, big jumps here.
Well, because who doesn't want to work with stars?
True.
But that being said, if you turn on the news, there's a lot of stars who are getting in trouble, whether it's financially or legally, and a lot of that has to do with their security team. So I just felt someone's got to do something better.
So question, The Bodyguard, Kevin Costner, Whitney Houston, did you love it or hate it?
I love Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Wasn't a huge fan of the movie, but it did spark that song. And
Fair enough.
So what kind of work goes into the strategy for a weekend like this?
It's planning. I mean, it is literally weeks, if not months and months of planning. Getting a celebrity from point A to point B and back to point A safely is, it is a massive undertaking.
For a lot of people who are in Los Angeles, they don't even understand what that's like. How many security guards do some of these celebrities have?
I mean, you could have anywhere from obviously 1 to some of them even have a dozen.
Wow. At any given time. I know you personally have worked with J-Lo. I've seen you around Post Malone.
Yeah. No, it's a whole new industry now. I mean, it's not about just having that one big guy that's on your shoulder. It's about planning, it's about vehicles, it's about going to locations, it's about dealing with managers and lawyers and agents, because in the end, these are not just people, they're assets. And getting that asset back safely is our #1 job.
Wow.
Sometimes, though, it does seem almost excessive. Does that one man need 5 other men around him at all times?
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, it's not like these are just normal people. They're businesses. And when you go to any big store or stadium, there's guards everywhere, and that's because you have to protect that asset. And these people are assets, so getting them back safely, that's the job.
And you took a quote right out of Jay-Z's lyrics. I think he said something like, "I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman."
Absolutely.
So I have a question for you. So what would you say, and it seems like an obvious question, but what's the hardest part of what you do?
Wow, the hardest part is probably just having that confidence in making sure that the plan is set right. There are people out there that are planning daily to hurt people. Our plan is to plan daily to make that, sure that is not going to happen. So, it's truly just about having the right people, the right timing, the right personnel, gear. I mean, everything across the board, and just trying to make sure that all the T's are crossed and all that, and just planning. That's all that matters.
Now, how often do you have to go undercover?
Oh, daily.
It's always
really?
Wow.
Yeah, because it's not just about having that visual. It's about having that, behind the scenes person who the public doesn't see.
Yeah.
Sure, you can, say, oh, there's that guard, but is that the guard too?
Well, you bring up an interesting point then, because I'm sure you get spotted on social media. How is that affecting the business?
Social media has become a very big problem. We have guards of ours who have almost become mini celebrities because fans see them and go, oh, if I get to know that person, I get to know Post Malone. So yeah, it's something that we've got to deal with daily, but you know what, social media is not going anywhere, and neither are we.
So do you have any tips for people in navigating that to maintain their safety, especially at a time like this?
I would definitely say, stop posting where you're going. And I know in the celebrity world that's almost impossible because you've got the media and you've got fans, but truly social media has become this beacon of kind of like an unsafe thing where if people know exactly where you're going, they're going to get there first. So just kind of be safe. Don't post, places and locations and flight times, stuff like that.
Well, I hope Harry and Meghan are listening because they're going to have a lot to deal with security being private citizens. What do you think about that?
It is going to be crazy. They're coming from a complete government structure to a complete private structure. When the president travels, it's planned months in advance. When Harry traveled, it was planned months in advance. Now they're just going to be 2 normal citizens, but who are still 2 of the most famous people on earth. It is going to be a logistical nightmare.
So how much is it going to cost them to protect themselves?
I believe anywhere between $3 to $5 million a year.
Wow.
Good thing they got it, huh?
Good thing they got it, yeah.
So are there any celebrities, and you have to call them out, but any celebrities' jobs that you won't take that you don't take on, and not just because of bandwidth, but just because it's a logistical nightmare?
I won't mention the name, but there's a pretty famous hip hop star who's currently in jail, who is getting out fairly soon, who is publicly mentioned that he wants to have, ex-military and ex-cops and, armed guys around him. But the problem is he's also got a price on his head. So I don't really see our company, trying to take on that contract. But good luck to anyone that does.
Right. Gotcha. Boy.
Wow.
Kind of scary, huh?
I can't even imagine what a day in the life is like for you. What have you learned maybe about yourself or about celebrity in this career that surprised you?
I probably learned just patience. It is a stressful environment. It is something that, mistakes are right around the corner, and those errors can cost people's lives. So just to slow down, don't get starstruck, don't try and take on contracts that we can't do, because sometimes you just don't want to do it. So basically, I've learned that I can be a patient person, which in Hollywood is a pretty tough thing to do.
Well, I'm wondering though, what do you do when your client, your celebrity, is having a very public fall from grace? I.e., the Britney Spears days or the Lindsay Lohan days, where you need to maybe step in and say something. Can you do that? What is the line?
Absolutely.
there?
Oh no, absolutely. There is a line that sometimes we have to cross, because if you're going to be with someone 10, 12, 15 hours a day, every single day, becoming their friend is almost inevitable. And I'm not to say that we're there to give personal advice, but sometimes it's going to happen. I've had guys call me and just say, hey, I had so-and-so just ask me, so what do you think about, like my new girlfriend, or this, this pair of shoes or something like that? And he's like, should I answer that? I'm like, absolutely. Having their confidence is just as crucial as us having confidence in the plan.
So interesting. As a positive psychology expert, a lot of my referrals have actually come through security folks or bodyguards, which is always interesting to me. I wonder, from your perspective, having done this work, if somebody wanted to get into the kind of work that you're doing, maybe they can't work with you directly, but what would you recommend they do?
To work for us, unless you have a law enforcement or military background, you're probably not going to get in. God bless you. But just start. There's a lot of good companies out there. I would just, get a job somewhere, get the experience. Don't go and work in a nightclub, because that's just the one part of the industry that everyone's trying to get away from. If you are a former bouncer or club guy, those are the ones that are getting these stars in trouble. If you just go onto Google and put in bodyguard arrested, you will see umpteen number of stories of these big guys who try and use force instead of brains. So, and that's where, on the law enforcement side and on, any kind of service side, you've learned that structure and the discipline, which is absolutely crucial in this market today.
If somebody is in the market for private security, what should they be looking for?
I would say a team, that's got a clean record. That's absolutely job number one. But I would say a team that is willing to listen, who can plan for you, who you're comfortable with, there's a lot of clients of ours who have kids. And so when we get that first phone call, they say, are you good, with kids? So and a lot of people aren't, So we had one client who every single one of our guards had to come to, and sit down with the client, and she had to see if you had kind eyes. Wow. Kind eyes is not normally, something that you're looking for in a security guard. But because the fact that these guys are going to be, with their kids all the time, traveling all over the world, they didn't want that guard to, have this kind of like scary feeling. So finding someone who's got the skills and, and the background, but also has kind eyes, it's more of a casting. It's, when we are looking for someone, it's not just, okay, cop, X this or that, tons of training, CPR, guns, blah, 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 blah. It's, how about the look? How about how they carry themselves? How about, can they speak well? Do they dress well? Is their hygiene good? All the things that makes up that kind of 007 look. So many people want that. And, it's not the typical look where if you are, a model-looking person, you normally don't want to go into this field. But we are actually, in need of those people. So if you're out there and you're a good-looking guy, but you have those skills, call us.
Well, please tell everyone where they can find a fellow. Of course, get more information about force protection.
Just at forceprotectionagency.com. We've got social media, same name, and we would love to help you out and keep you safe.
Well, thank you very much, Russell, for keeping us safe. We appreciate you and your time.
Thank
Stay tuned.
you.
We'll be back with Courtney Friel after this break.
I think myself and you, I'm sure, like want to help people. That's what it's all about. This little show here is, I'm not getting paid for it. It's a passion project for me to use my skills as a TV host. Do you think that it's the trauma, but also the disease that's making you not being able to stop?
It's difficult to tell where one starts and the other one stops.
Right.
They're almost first cousins.
And I think the biggest thing is just being open, even if it's not an angel or a guide, but being open to receiving inspiration. So you can call it whatever you want, but it really is the voice of inspiration that will guide you, that voice of your higher self, whatever you want to call it.
He just said, Jason, our marriage is suffering. We don't know what to do anymore. We're like 2 planks of wood waiting for the phone call that you're dead. And when he did that, for whatever reason, there was a moment of clarity for me. And that was when this journey started. That's when I actually got on, that happened. July 23rd was my first real sobriety date.
And what I always tell people is, if you haven't had long-term sobriety and done recovery and worked on yourself for a long period of time, then you don't know. Then everything your head's saying about it is a lie.
And I've been through this rodeo a couple, 3 times. But I have it down now. If you're getting sober, call me. You just got to stop.
My worst moment drinking was when I would, many of the same moments, when I would be lying in bed at about 4:30 or 5:30 a.m. and the Coke birds would start singing. And I think, you've wasted another night. You're going to be a total mess. You're not going to get any work done.
There are a lot of people that die in the process of waiting to get help.
And the pain of the loss of stuff that I had done, and the idea that I was broken beyond repair and that I could never change and that I could never get it together was really, I had to recast myself.
You have a platform. I have a platform. And I think it's our duty to use that platform at times to spread a positive message. When I was looking for people with platforms that I respected to give me the answer. I'm not going to listen to the homeless guy next door.
To be able to share that there is more to life than when I felt like I was living so unconsciously before. And now it's like I've woken up to this world I didn't even know existed. So I want to spread the word as much as I can about that.
I'm with you.
Brandon Lee, everybody. Thank you for keeping it real with me.
Keeping it Friel with us today is Courtney Friel, and I am so excited to welcome you back after that incredible book tour.
Thank you. Well,
congratulations.
I have a soft spot for you guys here, obviously, because I get to host Keeping It Friel here.
It's been such an honor to witness those interviews and those conversations and celebrate your book. Congratulations, #1 in multiple categories on Amazon.
It's no small feat.
Oh, absolutely.
I really hope that it's helping people. That was the intention, and I'm starting to get messages from people who have read it.
So through the course of your sobriety, I'm very curious, at what point did you decide to make it so public and to put it in this book?
I didn't put it out there until I had 6 years. I had always talked about it with my friends and family, but I hadn't put it on my Instagram page. And then once I did, the reaction has been really positive. I do get some people that are like, I don't understand, you're not like that anymore, so why do you keep wearing sober shirts and telling us about it? It's like, duh, have you not heard of maybe wanting to help someone?
Right.
Because that's the beauty of Instagram, because a lot of people are never going to go to rehab or step a foot in a 12-step program, but they will be at home in misery looking for some sort of assistance online, and maybe they'll stumble across the podcast, or they can buy the book and read it in the privacy of their own home.
Yeah, sometimes I find the people that are most reactive are the ones that need it the most, right?
Oh yes, yeah. Well, people that bug you about why you're not drinking, like I used to do to people who weren't drinking, they tend to be the ones that have the issues.
So take us back there, reporter Friel, the alter ego where this began for you.
This began with me being shy and bullied. And when I was 15 years old and I had my first drink, I realized that it brought me out of my shell, and also it numbed the pain of not being liked by people. So then it just developed into a party career, but cocaine was involved, and towards the end of the 15-year shenanigans, pills, Ambien, Adderall, and Xanax were in the mix too. And there was just not a time that I could have one drink and be a normal drinker. It was always like, I want cocaine, the second alcohol touches my lips, and then I want to be up all night until the sun comes up, and then super depressed. And it was a hot mess, and I just had this feeling that I was going to be either arrested for buying cocaine and fired from my job, or I was going to die in my sleep from the concoction of pills and drugs that were in my system. And then I ultimately ended up being interventioned with 7 people surrounding my bed, so they kind of forced me into rehab.
But I mean, you kept it so real in this book. I mean, it is so authentic and so raw, Courtney. And
I'm very vulnerable in
that.
See, here's the thing, like, you have to put that stuff in there for people to relate to you. Like, if I was just gonna be like, yeah, I have 10 years sober now, and didn't say what it was like, why would people even believe me that I ever had a problem to begin with?
But I mean, how did you really balance that? It's almost like you were living a double life. I mean, from the outside, you're star of Fox News, you've got the husband, you've got it all, but you were also really struggling.
I think there's a lot of functioning alcoholics and addicts in every profession. There's people who take their job really seriously, because that was my entire life. Before I had kids, I just wanted to do my news career, but I was a work hard, play hard person. So I never went to work drunk, although I think I was still drunk from the night before several times trying to host shows. But when I was off the clock, then it was time to party.
Wow. So when the intervention happened, talk to us a little bit about that. Like, was that insanely uncomfortable? And
yeah, so my now ex-husband came up to the bed, and see, my friends that night before, they were not able to get me off the floor. I was completely passed out. They couldn't wake me up. I had taken a bunch of pills, not trying to hurt myself or anything, but was completely wasted on top of it. So they were concerned, but my ex came up first and was like, you need to go to a rehab, inpatient, or we're getting divorced. And I was like, like, F you, whatever. And then he went downstairs and brought the 7 people around my bed, and they were all like, look, you need to take some time for yourself. And hey, Court, remember how you used to steal my Ritalin and snort it? Like, it was from kind of all walks of life, my friends. And so they just convinced me to go. And I knew in that moment too that I deserved more for my life. I had more to contribute, and that doing that would be the best thing for me. So at least I had enough functioning brain cells to know that in that moment.
Wow.
And then one day at a time, now I have over 10 years, and I love it. And that's why I wanted to write the book too, because people think that sobriety is gonna suck and you're never gonna have fun again. And then you can have fun. So I wanted to kind of walk people through all of the challenges and what it's like. And
once you became sober and really had to kind of discover yourself, right?
Yes.
What did you learn that surprised you?
Well, for one, they say you stay the same age as the age of your first drink. So in a way, I was acting like a 15-year-old for 15 years. And so I really had to grow up and mature and learn how to do things without the numbing out or the protection of this like confidence giver. So it did take me a while to like go dancing again and feel comfortable being who I was. But ultimately I ended up being able to be that outgoing person that alcohol made me in the first place.
What got
the alcohol?
What got you there though?
Being outgoing and fun and all that. That's what the booze did initially. And then, I don't know, I think that you really become like a badass when you see yourself getting through things and you're surviving through things where you would have wanted to drink, and when you don't drink and you get through them, like they call it living life on life's terms, then you become proud of who you are. So I think little by little, just building the confidence who I was without alcohol, I became, I'm like, whatever. And then also having kids too, because like once you've like, popped one out in front of a lot of people, and then you're like, I made a human. I'm a superwoman.
Well, it was interesting though to read your journey and know that you tried everything. You went trapezing.
Oh,
you did
I had an eat, pray, love moment for sure. Yeah, because I also got divorced in sobriety. I dealt with these like chronic headaches. I deal with these awful stories that I cover for my work. I was trying to navigate the dating world in Los Angeles sober. So lots of career things that were happening, and I was able to get through them, but I did have to find other ways to cope, and I had to learn how to meditate and do yoga and all of these, like finding little natural highs here and there. Trapezing's one of them, traveling's another one.
That's fantastic. So how's your life sort of as a reporter changed and shifted and improved as well?
I've been able to just mellow out and not take on the people's pain. Like that was a big issue for me since I sort of have a empath personality. So I would cover these stories and just get really, really sad. But I would recognize like, hey, this is a time where I would have wanted to come home and drink and numb out. And so then I just go for a walk on the beach, or I meditate in the closet, in the green room closet at work, or in the live truck, whatever I have to do. And meditation is my #1 tool in sobriety.
Love that. Yeah.
And you've got a great partner, your new fiance.
Yes, he is sober as well. So that all worked out. And my kids they're 7 and 9. They're a huge blessing in my sobriety, and they keep me sober, and I want to be present for them. So life is great. It really, really is.
Overall,
that's why I wanted to pass along the message.
For that. What has been the most rewarding thing for you in your sobriety, do you think?
That's a great question. I think just every year that I get is a reward. I mean, that's why we celebrate it as a birthday. I now have 2 birthdays. I have a belly button birthday, which is coming up, and I'm turning 40. And then there is the September 9th birthday, because my sobriety date is 09/09/09.
Oh, wow.
So now I've hit double digits, and that birthday is more important to me than my natural belly button birthday, because it's just why? Just because I take my sobriety so seriously and I cherish it so much, and it really has given me this superpower. I feel like I've stumbled across this gem to life, which I never was planning on having. And the same happens when you have children too. You get that like, wow, I made something. I baked something in my belly, and it can walk and talk and do all this stuff.
So interesting, because it really is your own rebirth too.
I never would have had kids if I hadn't have gotten sober. So that I always say that was a blessing for me, because I didn't want kids. I was all career. And then right when I came out of rehab, my career kind of like stalled too, so it was extra hard because I didn't have my partying and my career.
I'm very curious though, how has sobriety affected your parenting, and are you having those conversations with your kids earlier than normal?
Yes, so they know that mommy hasn't had any alcohol in 10 years. Like each birthday, they know that. They were a part of my 10-year anniversary, and they know that their future stepdad doesn't drink either. And I'm not gonna be like crazy about it. Like I think that just by leading a good example for them will hopefully help. There's like statistics that people who are in recovery, when they have children, like their children, if they turn into alcoholics, they have that gene, they find themselves getting help way earlier than someone who didn't.
That's
so
really
I know
encouraging.
so many people who are sober that also have their kids that are sober too.
It's so encouraging, right?
Yeah, I mean, you because I'm sure you could read the book one day and be like, well, Mom, you tried that and everything. And I knew that going into writing the book. And people have asked me, like, why would you put all that stuff for your kids to read one day? And it's like, first of all, those kids know, like, they wouldn't even be on this planet if Mommy didn't stop drinking. Right. And Mommy's been a good mommy because she's been like 100% present for them the whole time. And Mommy's a badass because she put it out there to help other people.
Yes,
she
absolutely.
is a badass.
She is.
Thank you, Courtney. We appreciate you so much. Please
And
tell everyone where they can find and follow you. And of course, get your
I'm
book.
at Courtney Friel on all the socials, and then you can watch my Keeping It Friel Conversations on Recovery podcast right here on EverTalk TV.
Awesome. And they can get the book where?
Amazon.
There it is.
And soon to be Audible.
Love.
Ooh, keep it a bestseller, everybody, and stay tuned. We'll be back with more on EverTalk Live.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to EverTalk Live here on Thursday. I'm so inspired today. My goodness, I am so inspired.
We have incredible guests. Courtney Friel, I truly admire the way she's able to just hold her composure and share the good and the bad news with the city of Los Angeles, with the world, is incredible. And that she was so vulnerable in keeping it 100 totally Friel in her book.
Absolutely. I mean, my brother worked as an anchor for a little while, and you know, he said that the news stories that he had to report on every day, you know, day after day, was so exhausting. Just that in of itself is a lot to process and deal with. On top of that, when you've got a family and we've been through the things that Courtney's been through, and you've come out so triumphant, you've written a great book about it. It's just, to me, like goals, right? Like life goals. Amazing.
Absolutely, life goals. And we're so grateful Russell is keeping us all safe Oscar weekend.
Yeah. We sent our bodyguards home. We just need him today.
Exactly. Security, please. And we'll, of course, be raising a glass with Michael Serberg Family Wines.
Yes,
so
we
grateful
will.
for Leah and her continued community and support.
Oh, she's the sweetest. I mean, absolutely the sweetest.
Honestly,
right?
she really is.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a great show for you tomorrow. We will be live at 9. In the meantime, of course, be sure to check out EverTalk on Apple TV and Roku.
That's right. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day on purpose.
Yes,
Yes,
here.
thanks, Jess.
Happy Thursday, Rob.
Happy Thursday.